Hello, and welcome to another episode of Speaking into the Abyss. I'm one of your hosts, Des, and that is your other host.
Jess.
Hey, Jess.
Hello, Des.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice. How's your weekend? Your week?
It's been pretty mundane, but I guess it's like pretty good. You know, nothing
Yeah.
too nuts going on. Just
Uh-huh.
vibing. I read a little bit more.
Nice.
I was able to go to therapy.
Yay.
You got me some hair color, so I was able to add a little bit more color to my hair.
Yes.
It's pretty much, I mean, my work has been really busy for me,
Yeah.
but once it's over, it's over. So
Yeah.
just taking it as it comes. How
Yes.
about you?
Very good. I had an amazing time on Friday night. I don't know if we talked about it on the pod, but one of my favorite DJs, like probably my number one actual favorite producer, is the Whittler, and he was supposed to have a show back in, I think, November, December. Due to a back injury, he had to cancel like the day before.
Yeah.
And I got the biggest blue balls ever.
Sure.
Because I was like so ready.
Yeah.
I love that man. I love his music. He knows how to do it amazingly.
Yeah.
And then they're like postponing, and then it's like postponing to April, and I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. It feels like forever.
We're like 6 months away. It was like something crazy. And I'm like, well, and then the day came, and it was so worth it.
Good.
I'm just so excited because I'm going to see him again in May at a festival. So I'm just like, I don't even know. I'm not even ready.
Getting double dosed up.
Yeah, and then like on a huge like outside sound system. I'm so excited.
That's awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he reminds me of like when I listen to like Too Short and E40, I just like get so ratchet and like throw ass and like, and I was like, and that was the vibe, and I was like, dang, he's them of dubstep, like.
Yeah. He gets you in that vibe.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, let's get ratchet, let's get crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I love that for you.
Yeah, such a good, like, I don't know, you know those nights where you just go out and it's just like everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've been in a good mood since then. I can't really complain.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm just working and stuff.
Yeah, work,
Yeah, work has also been like super tiring at both of my jobs, and like I was like kind of hurt my wrist again because I went too hard on Monday, and it's feeling better today. So I just gotta like, I don't know,
Did you get a wrist guard?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Make sure you're using
I
it
just
when
need
you're
to
resting.
I just need to not be working so hard, I guess.
That too. Take it easy. A little bit easy.
A little easy, yeah.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Know when to walk away.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. I've never heard that. Is that an original?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Quote by Destiny.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to get a t-shirt with it on it.
That's so funny.
And then like at my other job, I've just done really like long projects. Some beautiful hair, but the time is tormenting at times.
Yeah.
But it's so nice. And then I'm like, oh, you just got to show up. You just got to show up and do your stuff.
Yep. And get it over with.
Yep.
I think, but at least there's like a end game for that, like at the end of it, there's like something you can see, like, oh, this is where all my time went. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's pretty cool. I was just watching a video online of this girl. I get her videos sometimes recommended to me, but she's a braider.
Yeah.
She does different hairstyles and stuff. And she's like, I guess she doesn't have like a length policy or something. So people with really long hair be coming in a lot. And one of her videos, she always does the first part where they talk about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And they show the hair. And then the second part where it's like her doing it and then the result. And it took them 15 hours. And
Yeah.
I was like, dang, it really does take a while to do hair. Cause like my hair is not that long. But
No, thank
even when
goodness.
we do my hair, sometimes it's like a few hours.
Yeah,
And
if
it's
we're like
like,
bleaching and
yeah. And
stuff,
it's like,
yeah.
dang, it really does be a process. It's a
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty nuts. Shout out to you guys, hairstylists and stuff out there. You guys are saints. Holding it down, making us look good.
Yeah, we just accent you. You guys already look good.
Aw, that's sweet. That is so sweet. You talked about going out,
Yeah.
and that reminds me if I wanted to ask you if you heard about that girl who went out in downtown our city and was shot.
Okay. I saw clips,
Yeah, everyone's like
just
multiple
like clips,
angles.
but I didn't. I think when I saw them, it was like on a break or something. So it's very limited. And like, I think by the time I saw it, I just had to go back. So I never really went back to it.
Uh-huh.
But besides that, I don't know anything. I just know the girl died, right? Or
No, she
no,
didn't die.
no? Okay.
Thankfully, she didn't die. What? Okay, so what had happened was there's two girls, friends, besties going out, and there was a rowdy group or just one person who had a gun who's being very rowdy, not in their group, just in general was there and was apparently being threatening and stuff with the gun. She picked a fight with one of the friends and her friend jumped in to get her friend away from her because she has a gun. So she started swinging on the girl with a gun, as you maybe saw in one of the clips,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when she got shot in the chest,
Dang.
and it broke her ribs and it fucked something up where she's recovering, she's doing good, but she had to like learn to like move or something. Like there's something
Okay,
about
yeah.
that, which is really scary and sad. But then the lady fled and they didn't know who it was,
Oh no.
but they just arrested her last night, and
Oh
so she's
wow.
booked.
Okay.
She's booked now, for assault with a deadly weapon, and I don't know what else, but a couple things I think. But yeah, people were people were mad for her, I think, and like she was saying she wanted to seek legal like counsel because the police apparently weren't being as active as they should have been, and she also wants to seek legal counsel against the people who were possibly hiding the girl,
Okay.
because they're like, obviously that's
Yeah.
fucked up. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. But it just because it just all happened. It's so crazy. It happened like 2 days ago or a day ago, and now it's already like, I guess it had to be 2 days ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of the time of recording, um, but it's just wild. Like I don't know, because like I've talked about it with you. I don't know if we ever did we talk about it on the podcast. I don't know. But the time I went out with my friends and then uh it just was kind of a bad experience.
I think we did talk about it
Okay.
on the
And
podcast
I
with the security
yeah, yeah,
guards. Yeah,
yeah.
I think we did talk about it, but
Okay. Um so I don't know, but it was kind of because like that night for me was kind of one of those things where I was like, okay, and I gotta be super selective about the nights I go out and who I go out with.
yeah.
And like, not that I wasn't before, like I've always been super cautious, and I'm kind of like, I feel like no matter how drunk I get or tipsy I get or whatever it is, the second I feel like I got to take care of my friends, it's like sober, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm always pretty aware, but like that night very very much made me kind of like a little bit more anxious or scared to go out, I guess.
Yeah.
And at least in that capacity. And then to watch, like, to see this happen, and it's not even like, because I've always been scared of like the Santa crawls, the zombie crawls, because there's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many
You
people.
I think we talked about that on
Yeah.
the pod.
But now it's like you don't even have to be going to that to be shot. Like,
Yeah.
it could just be one person who's drunk and has a gun, because anyone can get a gun.
Yeah.
And that's really scary. And all her friend was, the girl got shot, all she was trying to do was protect her friend. Like, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta be safe out there, everyone. I don't mean to bring down the mood, but I just was thinking about that when you said, like, oh yeah, I went out or whatever. I
Yeah.
just was like, damn, like, I don't know. I get so worried about you when you go out.
Oh,
I
thanks. That's very
mean, I
nice.
know you're safe. I know your friends are cool too,
Very
and they're gonna
sweet of
take care of
you.
you. But
Yeah. I know one of our friends, Jenny, was like, you just know everyone. And I'm like, no, I literally don't know everyone. I'm like, literally just my friends come to this one spot. And I just like,
you run
it's,
into each other.
yeah, I'm like, we're just all here. And I'm like, and yeah, you do feel safer when you're in a group of like 20 or 30 of just your homies. Like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
but did you hear about just the other day I ran across the article and then I saw like a TikTok about it and then I was like, okay, but basically there's this girl named Maria Weston Kuhn and a few years ago she was in a car crash, head-on
Mm-hmm.
collision.
Mm-hmm.
Her and her mom were in the back seat
Mm.
and she and her mom got like really bad injuries like let me see.
Well,
The
who was
seat
driving?
belt, her dad and her dad and then her brother were in the front.
Oh,
Um the seat belt pinned her intestines to her spine.
it's like
And
tightened or
yeah,
something. Oh
yeah,
my
and
god.
apparently okay, so the whole thing that like brought this about is that there is a senator. She's a Republican senator. Her name is Deb Fisher. She is pushing this bill basically called the She Drives Act.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's to raise the standards for crash dummies
Okay.
um, because they don't have any that like reflect a woman's lighter
Oh, I
frame. Yes.
see. Ah,
So
she drives.
so Maria's brother and father walked away with scratches from this crash.
Oh my god.
And so when she got home, her grandma had like cut out a little article clipping and she saw it next to her bed and it basically said that women are 73% more likely to be severely injured and most of the injuries are similar to hers
Uh-huh.
compared to men in the same crash.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, that's insane to think about. And then this one guy named Chris O'Connor, he's the president and CEO of Humanities, one of the world's leading producers of crash dummies.
Okay.
And he says that cars are not designed for women. Ever since the 1980s, their baseline was a male that's 40 to 50 pounds,
Sure.
and it has never been updated since then.
Sure. But I
And
thought they used kids too, like kid dummies.
probably just boy dummies. I
Yeah, I
don't know.
guess so.
But yeah, and I was just like, oh, that's
It's also
crazy.
really interesting that our bodies are so different in that way that
Yeah.
like yeah, it really is significantly like a safety hazard. Like that's crazy. Her fucking intestines are pinned to her
Yeah.
stomach, her spine.
Yeah. That sounds ridiculous.
I can't. It's hard to
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, but then you can imagine it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
And then I don't know if I said 40 to 50 pounds, but I meant 40 to 50-year-olds if
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't remember if I said it or not,
40 to 50-year-olds.
but yeah, so
That's
that
interesting. What a weird age.
maybe like the average driving man. I don't know. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, cool. So she's getting the bill put in, or it's already active, or what?
I did not really look into that, but I think it is getting pushed right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember seeing like an article maybe like 2 or 3 years ago talking about them finally using a woman test dummy.
I was gonna say, I feel like I remember like that ad for something, and it had a whole dummy family, and it
Yeah.
was like a girl and a boy, and then the mother and the father kind of thing, and they were crashing. But like,
yeah, and I think that like maybe they just used them, but I think the bill is trying to change the actual
yeah, the
regulations.
testing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, so I was like, dang.
And
I
it's
was like,
crazy that,
finally.
like, yeah, like we're in 2025.
Yeah.
Women have been able to drive for a really long time. I mean, like in the sense
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, that's really nuts, dude. That's scary.
Yeah. Well, I guess good for us now too. Because I remember when the women one came out, they were like so amazed that women like don't drive with their hand in the same spots that guys do, or that they grab the wheel like a claw, or like they grab it one handed, or
Hmm.
just different ways of holding it.
Yeah.
They just assume everyone drives like this.
I drive with my knees. Just
See?
kidding.
See? I feel like we've all done that, right?
I mean, yeah, your hands are full. What else are you gonna
Dude,
do?
I remember being a high schooler, being cool. You have the seat leaned back a little
Oh
bit,
my
the windows
god.
down, your knees driving, and then you're like leaned out the window a little bit, just playing some
You're
music,
wild, bro. That's
just
so
chilling, just
funny.
cruising,
Chilling
hop
like a
out, ghost
villain,
ride the
bruh.
whip. Just kidding.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Uh
You're like, I'm not in the car. You're leaning all the way back.
Dude, well, and then sometimes I'd be like, let me drive. I was like, let me channel my inner cholo and see
Oh
how
my
low I could
god. That's
drive.
crazy, bro. I already have a hard time looking over my dash.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do
See,
it.
see, you don't have the height to play with.
Yeah, dang it. Only tall people allowed. That's so funny. Oh man. But wow, that's cool though. That's
Yeah,
cool. That's very interesting.
women plus one.
Yay!
we're up to 3% of where the men are at.
That's crazy. We're still not getting paid equal amounts, but at least we might get test dummies.
Yes, yes.
That's so funny.
Hey, a win is a win.
A win is a win. A win is a win. That's horrible. Have you been in an accident?
No, never.
You know what I was thinking of, because you were saying that they were in the back seat. I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say that, okay, because one time we have a mutual friend that me and my partner were giving a ride to somewhere, and I don't know, my partner was driving, and I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh, be careful, not because he was driving bad, but there was like somebody else who was kind of like in and out of lanes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how people get in accidents. And then I noticed the person who we were giving a ride, it was in the back seat, was not buckled up. And I was like, you need to buckle up. And
Yeah.
then my partner was like, yeah, because like if we get pulled over, like you're gonna get a ticket because you're an adult, whatever. And I was like, no, that's not why. I said, because if we get in an accident, you're a human bullet. You're gonna fly forward
Yeah.
and kill my partner. I was like,
You're like, I
want
only
that.
care about my partner.
I was like, I don't want that. I was, well, because I mean, like, you're playing with your own life. You know what I mean? If you
You're
don't
like,
wanna wear,
if you die, whatever. But my man,
if you don't want to wear a seatbelt, I'm not gonna force you unless you're gonna kill my man. And then
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, you gotta put it on.
yeah.
The person we were giving a ride to did not know what that was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, that's, if for people who don't know, that's like when you get in a car accident, the people in the back, if they're not buckled in, they fly forward. And the momentum of their body flying forward with their weight, especially if they're like a adult male, probably, is enough to kill the people who are buckled up in front of them, because it comes from the back. And that's why it's called a human bullet, because it like penetrates, pushes right through you. And if not, you'll go through the fucking windshield, and that's still very fucking terrifying and horrible. Like I think I've already talked about it on here, but when I was in high school, there was a I don't know what they were, but some type of police guy who came into my school to show us horrible videos about traffic accidents.
Wasn't it for your driver's ed?
No, I didn't do driver's ed. It was in
okay.
ROTC actually, but
okay.
he was like, if you have a weak stomach, walk out now. And then, dude, the fucking photo was a woman and her kid, like, who had crashed, neither of them wearing seatbelts, went through the windshield.
Yeah.
Literally disintegrated their bodies onto the fucking asphalt. There's nothing recognizable about them, just blood. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the kind of shit that sticks in your brain, and then you're like, yeah, I don't want anyone to become a human bullet and or a pile of blood.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but, and I feel like that's something that is like common if you think about it, like just the fact of knowing, like, that if something's moving at a speed, it'll
It's gonna
stay at
keep
that.
moving.
Newton's first
Yes,
law.
yes,
Yeah.
literally. But not everybody like is thinking of that. I guess when they're
Yeah.
in a car because they think they're stationary.
I'm like, you haven't driven and your drink or your, oh my gosh, sometimes when I'm like busy and I'm like trying to like eat on my way
Uh
somewhere
huh.
and then I have to like stop
Uh huh.
and then my food just
Flies.
flies onto my carpet and I'm
Yeah.
just crushed and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, now I'm gonna be hangry.
Or
Like,
like I've picked up food before and I'll have the bag all tied up and I put it on the
oh
seat
my gosh, and
and
then
it
you
just
have to,
falls over. Oh
yeah,
my god, that is so sad. I'm like, oh, and it's just like,
yeah.
what can you do?
That's
Can't
why,
reach.
yeah, that's why when I do food delivery, I buckle those bad
Buckle
boys
it up.
in.
See, and then it only takes one time, and then you buckle them in from
Yep,
there.
yep,
So let it be fast food versus a human. That's
yeah,
the best case
yeah,
scenario. I also just watched a video of this kid sitting in the passenger seat of his parents' car, and he's on his phone, unbuckled, and he's like leg up, like legs up on the dashboard, and his phone like he's like crunched over,
yeah,
and then they break suddenly, and his whole ass goes into the floor, and his
yeah.
legs are still up.
Oh my
And like,
gosh.
I mean, people were saying like he could have broke his spine, he could have hurt his spine, but also kid
Yeah,
should be buckled up
yeah.
and sitting there. But yeah, crazy.
Okay. So, since we're already talking about like crashes and like shootings,
Yeah,
you want to get a little morbid and talk about dying?
yeah.
Mm.
Um, I guess
Let's
I
see. How do you feel about dying?
low key or maybe even high key. I'm not sure. Like I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I've just been like kidding myself for a really long time that like I don't really care because like I know death is part of life. Like it just happens. There's really
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. Sometimes people die way too young, and sometimes they get to die in their sleep, and some people get like the worst types of deaths.
Yeah.
So I like have always just kind of known that. And with, us listening to so much true crime and like stuff like that, it's just such a reality. But like, I don't know why, but like more recent times, it's been kind of scary for me. Like the idea of dying.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if other people feel that.
I
How do
feel
you feel
like
about
I
it?
feel like being scared to die or afraid to die is very, very common.
Okay.
I would think so, but then I also think the opposite is very common.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think I'm afraid to die.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my life is like me living it to the best of my
Sure.
ability and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm living a good life and trying my best and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if I go out, I go out. I think maybe if I was to sit down and think about like how I die, I guess that's probably a little more
Sure.
terrifying. Like if I, something crazy like drowning, catching on
Just
fire,
something
like,
traumatic or
then
something.
like, yeah, I guess that would fucking suck for sure. But, I don't ever think I'm afraid to die. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I spent a good chunk of my life. I know I'm pretty young, but I spent a good chunk of it low key wanting to die. So it
yeah,
was like for me, I think that like I always in the back of my head I was like, well, if I die, I die. Like it is what it is.
yeah,
So that's where like the fear kind of dissipated. But
yeah.
now I feel like because I'm living in such a good life,
You're
it's
like,
like
I don't
I
want to
don't
go out.
want to die.
Yeah,
But also, I think also part of it is like the fear of getting older. Not necessarily like, in my 30s or 40s, but like old, so old that like, you're right there. You're about to
yeah,
die. But you're old. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's one of those things where it's like I don't know that right there is just scary. I don't even know how to explain why it's scary, but it just feels scary to think that like and I'm not even close to that. I don't know
yeah,
why. I just
yeah.
like but the idea that like I could one day like not be able to
Care for yourself.
yeah, and then like what if I don't know. I mean not to say that these people don't live good lives like people in these situations, but also I'm so afraid that I wouldn't live a good life or something if I wasn't able, like, I guess able-bodied in that way and like mentally able. Like, am I going to be fully there? Am I going to develop something? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Am I going to have like issues remembering people, or are they gonna put me in a home and I'm gonna have to remember every single day? Like they're gonna have to remind me that like I'm not in a terrifying place. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's so scary to me. I think like I also just I don't know. I don't know why I feel like so negative about it. Like, because like I'll see really older people
Yeah.
hobbling across the street
Yeah.
and people being frustrated at them, like for, you know,
Yeah.
crossing the street and they can only go so fast
Yeah.
and they're the only ones there. Or I saw somebody in a wheelchair who was very old, like older,
Mm-hmm.
like an electric one, and they were having trouble getting onto like that edge of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they don't have anybody with them to help them right now. And
Yeah.
like that, I don't know if it's the fear just like getting to that point or be getting to that point and having nobody that can also help you.
Yeah.
But also, I think maybe like the fear of being a burden or something, or deemed as a burden or something.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so in my field, I closely deal with a lot of the older generation.
Mm-hmm.
I range from people who are like literally infants all the way to 90 year olds,
Mm-hmm.
older, 98, 99.
Mm-hmm.
And they, some of them are really stubborn. Some of them are just so annoyed that like everyone wants to like coddle them through life.
Sure.
And then some are just very grateful. And some are tearing up when I'm doing their hair, telling me about like how awful it is to be old
Sure.
and how I almost died. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and I think that's just life. And as much, their favorite thing to do, everyone, don't get old now. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying. Like,
Right. Yeah.
but I feel like there's definitely, I think, especially as we progress as a society, and I feel like not only innovatively through tech, but also emotionally through generations, I feel like by the time we get older, there will be a lot more grace and a lot more compassion for the older generations.
I almost disagree with that part specifically, like the compassion part, because like a couple things. One is the South Park episode where they make they make fun of people being upset when all the elderly people are getting out of the whatever they're doing. Like they have like a certain time they all get out, and they're like, we have to beat them to the traffic because they're gonna drive really
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
But like, and it's a funny like whatever, but like it is kind of like I felt like. It's the idea. The reason why they made an episode is because it's a thing that
Yeah.
people think.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like this newer generations are even less accepting or helpful to the elderly. They're even more annoyed by the elderly than like our
Yeah, but they're still
generation.
young right now. That's what I'm saying. By the time they grow up, I don't know. I don't have the stats. I just remember seeing it in passing. It was statistics about how Gen Z is way more fit. They're way more mentally stable. They are less likely to drink or smoke. They don't want to have kids. Like, it's just a bunch of research that's like offshoots that are better than our generations.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know, I just feel like specifically I meant like more humanity, and with that I mean
Mm-hmm.
specifically your family. I wasn't like talking too large of a
Sure,
scale,
sure.
but I feel like community and humanity is something that's been like trending. And I hate to throw in religion with trending, but that's also something that a lot of people have been getting into. And in the long run, who knows what that'll
Yeah,
entail.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
And
I just
you could
don't.
be a little old lady and you'll have a great, wonderful person that works for you and is your companion and, whatever, whatever.
Right, or I could die tomorrow.
And
But
then you don't have to stress about being old.
exactly. But also, that's too fast. And the thing is, like, that's, I guess, the thing that's so scary about death in a sense is that, like, because it's so unknowing and so,
Yeah.
like, random and whatever. And you're right, you could just, like, die one of those horrible, like, terrible
Yeah.
deaths where you're, like, literally choking to death or whatever,
Yeah. Or like you could get ricocheted by a bullet.
or a
Like,
human bullet.
yeah.
Yeah. Like literally these things, it's literally so fucking random. And I think like that's it too. It's like obviously the lack of control over the
Yeah.
situation is what's scary, not necessarily death,
Yeah.
but it's still it's just I think it really does go back to like maybe yeah, like because I like the life I'm living right now,
Yeah.
it would suck to die. Plus I
Yeah.
have my little babies, my little
Yeah.
dogs, and like the idea of leaving them behind and they don't know what's going on
Yeah.
is so it can make me cry right now
Yeah.
because it's just I can't do that to them.
Yeah.
Um or like okay, so not I'm sure not everyone who listens to us like believes in spirits and ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that like imagine like you and that's the crazy I think that's the thing that is like I'm obviously scaring myself. I'm obviously like the main issue here in like this scenario because I think about like oh if I did die and I
Uh-huh.
was like
A ghost?
spiritually around like I could
Yeah.
see the things that were happening after I die like all the like heartbreak that might cause or something
Yeah.
like that's so sad and like or the because you think about the heartbreak that it would cause you if someone you cared about died
Yeah.
and that's like something you don't ever want to go through but now imagine just like having to watch everyone go through something and you can't do
Yeah.
anything about
Yeah.
it like that's so sad. I don't know also I don't even know what really has been putting it into my mind so much lately
Yeah.
like death and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know. Actually, maybe it's because I was talking to my therapist and
Yeah.
like I was telling him how I visited my family and um I guess like a little bit personal or whatever. And I think I did talk about it on the podcast a little bit, but in more of a lighthearted way. When I was visiting where my grandma lives, my grandpa who is passed, it was his like mini like little farm. He had like a little garden. He had
Yeah.
chickens and stuff. And when I was back, it's like almost unrecognizable because
Yeah.
the grass has grown so much and like everything is just like kind of blended in with it and there's no more chickens and like there's his truck's like all tires are flat and it's like grass is growing over it too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those like time stopped things
Yeah.
and it's like I'm gonna cry but
You can cry.
it's I think maybe that's like part of it is like neither of my grandpas are alive on
Yeah.
my mom and my dad's side and my grandma on my mom's side isn't either and so it's like I don't know I think because I was also thinking about like the last of the relationship that I have with my grandma on my dad's side I
Yeah.
guess and it's like you only have like you literally do only have so much time like everything was so random.
Yeah. We're on borrowed time.
And I don't know, like, because I think I've thought about it, but like when people die and the world keeps spinning,
Yeah.
and there's like everyone just has to keep going. Like I have a coworker who, you know, God bless her soul, she like takes care of her parents who are like have are sick in the late stage of their life or whatever it is, and her father died, and that was like her best friend.
Yeah.
And it's just she has to keep going anyway. She
Yeah.
has to keep going to work and she has to like deal with the paperwork of that and the his probably his funeral stuff and still take care of her mom
Yeah.
and it's just like I don't know. It's unreal. It's unreal how, like, sometimes you don't even have time to grieve.
Yeah.
You just gotta keep going. I don't know. I don't want to do that. I don't want
Yeah.
to be that.
You don't want to be the person someone's grieving for
Yeah.
because you don't want to burden us with your death.
Yeah. I don't want that. I don't want to look down and you guys are crying or something. That'd be so lame.
Okay, if you ever die,
Don't cry, Jess.
I'm gonna quote this episode and be like, go
He's
listen
gonna
to this.
play it.
I'm gonna clip it. I'm like, everyone start laughing. Start laughing.
Have a great time.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. And then I guess like because like I do want to have a kid or like kids, you know.
yeah.
And then I'll get older. And then like cuz like obviously the hope is that you're there for them to grow up at least.
Yeah.
It's like one day then I'll be dead. And then my kids won't have me. And like that's a crazy
Yeah.
thing to leave them with, I think. I don't know. There's just a lot. I feel like the nuances of death are so obvious and then yet so just confusing a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very relatable and valid thoughts and feelings to have. And I agree with all of those too. I'm not anti any of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably not like super great to be thinking about death like that frequent. I mean, and I wouldn't say that I do, but
I think it's something everyone thinks about, like in the sense of like not being suicidal, but like wondering about afterlife. Like, isn't that why there's religion?
mm-hmm.
That's the obsession of after this life,
Yeah. Right.
what happens after. Like, it's something people think about all the time, and people, base their lives off of whatever rules and practices and whatever religion they practice to hopefully come out on the other side and be in paradise or reincarnated or whatever. So
Right.
it's something that's widely thought about often. So I wouldn't feel weird about it.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair.
Yeah.
I guess like I could just like I don't know. I guess like let go of that control or that need
Yeah.
for the like wanting to know. It's just
Yeah.
like it's so hard sometimes because it like I said, this is like I don't know what even I'm just guessing what triggered it, but like I honestly I've not usually been like this about it. So it's like kind of it's just weird that it's like so heavy on my mind lately.
Yeah.
But also maybe it's the content that I'm taking in, you know.
Yeah. Could be the state of the world as well.
Mhm. Uh,
Well, very grateful to be alive.
oh yeah, me too. Definitely. Especially like I guess to be alive in this time period. Like it's kind of crazy and scary right now, but also at the same time it's like still technically like some of the better time periods.
Yeah, it as much as it does suck, it is like the best time to be alive. Like it
Yeah.
is like it's crazy to think that crime rates are lower than they've ever been.
Mhm.
Like, the earth's burning, sure, but like, us as a society seem to be doing not too bad,
Yeah. Yeah.
large scale, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the universe, this wonderful planet. How lucky are we to be alive during the time where humans could inhabit this area?
Yeah. And be able to like have these thoughts even.
Yeah, to be conscious.
Mhm. Yeah. I guess like also like in that same kind of vein, I guess we're actually extremely lucky to even just be able to have the time to question that,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. So, what would be your ideal afterlife?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about that, I guess. I mean, like, I was asked the other day, like, what is your, like, spiritual belief at least?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, reincarnation. But then I clarified that, like, I believe in it because I can. Like, I could just choose whatever I want to
Yeah.
believe in. It's free will. So I
Yeah.
just believe whatever the hell I want. And I guess chose to believe in reincarnation. But, like, ideally, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, it would be cool, I guess, if like heaven was a thing, where it's like this perfect place
Yeah.
where all the people you love
Are
are
just
good.
hanging out.
Yeah, and all the pets that you've had and all this stuff, they're just all there chilling, waiting for you or something.
Yeah.
Um, ideally, that's a good question. Well, what about you? Do you have an answer?
Um, I don't have an answer, but I think maybe like a part-time thing, like come down and be a ghost a little
Ooh,
bit. Like
yeah.
not necessarily like a bad ghost, but I guess like a maybe like an angel or
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe a little gooby
Give me
ghoul. A gooby
Yeah,
ghoul.
for sure.
Maybe like a if you like rolled your eyes at me one day and I
You're like
find
pulling
you,
pranks.
I'm like, huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just nothing crazy, like locking your keys in your car. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say you're like
The little duendes.
the reason why like some people have those YouTube videos like caught on camera and it's like something falling off a shelf.
It's so random. It's like someone eating like something spicy and I just like knock the hot sauce away.
Yeah, like that'd be crazy. That'd be cool.
Yeah, just
That
like
would be
part
cool.
time or
Part
like,
time.
be able to like float in and like I always think about like how people talk about when they dream with like dead people that they love.
Mm,
And I've never had like a dream
yeah.
where I dream of like my dead pets or any relatives.
Yeah.
And I always get kind of sad about it. I'm like, wow, dang, I'm not on the roster.
Oh, is it like because they think they're visiting them?
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because usually it's like in visit forms and like they talk to them and whatever, whatever. And I was like, huh. I was like, maybe I'll just be popping in dreams like, hey, yo. Imagine me popping into your dream after I'm dead. Like, check out our latest
Yeah,
episode.
that's crazy. Well, I wonder. You know how like they say like people in your dreams though aren't usually people like they're people you've seen in passing and stuff.
Yeah,
But I wonder if like other like if that's the case, like if dead people can come to your dreams and like see you and visit you,
yeah.
if those random people ever just pop into random people's dreams.
And we're just seeing like dead people in our
Yeah, they're
dreams.
just like
Yeah.
being involved in our dreams or whatever. Like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like, if that's a thing, like, if you when you die, you can just like dream hop or like be some type of guidance for
Mm-hmm.
someone. Yeah, Loki, that'd be really cool. I'd like that.
Yeah.
Um, I what if I could possess people, like take control of their body for a little bit?
Yeah.
Not in a bad, evil way, but like more of a like a what's going on here, like hop in,
Like hop
like a
into their.
streamer or something.
It's like when you go like just kind of like a few maybe minutes or like an hour pass and you're like, whoa, like I feel like I was just zoned out hella hard.
Yeah. Like how to get to work. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to drive for a little
You're like,
bit.
I love this song.
I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Traffic's not bad today.
Yeah, yeah.
um
Yeah, I feel like
yeah, or like being able to imagine like in your pet's brains. Like if they're still alive
oh,
and you can like understand what they're thinking
yeah.
and like feeling and
Well, like
stuff.
okay, and then here's like my assumption, right? Like after you pass, like if we're going to this paradise, you can talk to your dogs and stuff,
Yeah, I would imagine.
right? Yeah.
I would hope so.
Right, man?
Oh, like and they say dogs and babies see spirits.
Yeah.
Like you could just like if they're still alive and you're gone and he come down and they
Come
could
and
still
visit
hang
them.
out with you.
Yeah. Well, I always get jealous when I hear stories about like pet spirits coming to visit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That is so awesome.
We've talked about it on a past episode, that one story of that person who says that his dog died and he got a second dog with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then the whatever it was, like some ghost was in the like a demon or something came in and there was growling and he thought it was the new dog, but it was actually like literally the ghost. Like his
Yeah.
dog was there on his bed, his
Yeah.
past dog, and like growling at
Yes.
the thing and saving him. I was like, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Our pets are the shit.
Yeah.
See, that's like the other thing about death though. I can't. I don't like thinking about it. But then I do think about it and I'm like, why do I think about it? But like my pets dying is like I can't. Like I've definitely had pets die before
Yeah.
and it doesn't get any easier.
No.
And it's just like even harder like the longer they live. Like obviously you want them to
Yeah.
live the longest life possible, but it's like I don't know, dude. My family dog still alive, still cooking, still doing her
Yeah.
thing. She has a little attitude, love her. But it's like you're so old now. It's like
Yeah. It's like brownie for me. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't know when she. Thank God she's still alive, but it's like I know one day it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't think
why.
I'll ever be ready.
Yeah. What I started to do was every time I would go over, I would snap a picture of Brownie. Just to like have a little backlog of him. So cute with his little tongue sticking out or whatever. And then it's so crazy because like sometimes like I mean like even to this day I cry about like King and he died in like 2017
Mhm.
and sometimes like I'll be going through old pictures and like videos and stuff and like sometimes you like see little pictures of them when they're sleeping and like then I like remember like exactly what they looked like when they were dead and they literally
Oh,
look the same and I
like
was like
they're
oh my gosh
sleeping.
yeah
That's horrible. I mean, it's
yeah
like bittersweet.
yeah
So at least they're resting.
yeah definitely easier when they it doesn't feel as bad when they're older, at least.
It's like, they lived a long
Yeah, a
life.
good long life versus like King was only 2. Like
Yeah,
he was
and it was
literally a
so
baby. Yeah.
shocking, yeah. Rest in peace, little babies.
I know. My mom was saying that like maybe thinking about getting a new little baby in the
Oh,
house.
really?
And I was like, sounds like a good idea. It's just
Yeah.
hard. I remember my little sister was like, the youngest one was like, I can't do this. I can't do it again. I don't want to like
Oh,
deal with
it makes me
losing another pet. And I
cry.
was like,
My
ugh, it's
mom's
so
the
hard.
same. Yeah, dude, that's so freaking sad, dude.
Yeah, I just think the pain is definitely worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. We still got like another 10 years with our kids.
Yeah. But ah, just why, dude? I hate it. I wish they could be immortal, but then I guess it wouldn't be fair.
And then they're like, why do all my humans keep
Yeah, why do they
dying?
just die?
Yeah.
Yeah, but fuck, dude. It's just when they do get sick, like it's different. I think it's just different depending on how they die, right? Like
Yeah.
when a dog gets sick and you can't explain to them like what's
What's
going
going
on,
on?
like that is like another level of trauma. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, like I don't
But then you know how like some dogs, I feel like they know they're dying because you know how like some dogs run away from their house or like
hide.
hide or like go away so like you don't have to see them die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but fuck. See, that is so sad too.
Yeah.
Ah, I wish I could be there for all the dogs in the world, all the animals, and give them
Well,
love and stuff like that.
afterlife side quest.
True.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll just be visiting all the animals.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be
maybe we
like a
could open up a
saint.
sanctuary in heaven, a pet sanctuary.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Um, that's yeah, yeah. Just grateful to have our babies, I guess, still,
Yeah.
and be able to enjoy time with them.
Yeah. I was going to say on the spectrum of gratefulness, very grateful to see sobriety trending. A lot of my friends and acquaintances are getting sober, and I'm so proud of all of them, whether it's like 1 to 2 weeks, a month, and then they're like trying again, like,
Yeah.
and like some are like 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm so happy. A lot of my homies would probably be dead if they weren't trying to be sober. And I think it's been really nice to not have a friend die in a while from an overdose or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. That's really
So,
sad. But like yeah, I think that's cool. Every day is a challenge, and every day that like you can be sober is a victory for sure,
yeah,
no matter how long that is. Because I feel like some people do get hung up on the like,
messing up like a
yeah,
streak.
and then
Yeah.
they're like, fuck it, I'm a fuck up. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
you can just always hop back on.
Yeah. And it's definitely hard, like, to like see it on the outside from like that being your friend or your
Yeah,
family member or whatever. And I
for
feel like
sure.
sometimes you're just so angry and you forget that they're literally just trying their best.
Yeah, yeah,
And like, that may not look the same for everyone. And I always think about this like one interview clip I saw online, and it's like, I can't remember verbatim what it says, but it basically says like, if you see a homeless person on the street doing drugs, what would you think?
right,
Blah 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 blah.
right,
And then they quoted it like they said, "Are you religious?" And then they said, "What if you found out that that was their best? Would you be upset at them for that being their best or something like that?" And it
uh-huh,
just boiled down to like them saying, well, no, obviously not. And just kind of like have compassion for people because like someone's best is not your best. And you
yeah,
can't like penalize anyone for trying their best.
right. It's like trying to grade a fish on climbing a tree.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, definitely, I feel like I've um dealt with, family members who have had, or I guess still do have like addiction issues, right? Because it doesn't really ever go away. You
Yeah.
just get better at managing it. Um, and I felt that anger that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, even with, friends, I feel like who I've seen like kind of have this bad problem or like this addiction or whatever it is. And I guess like the anger is like in the like just wanting them to do
Better.
better for themselves, and
Yeah.
knowing that you really can't do anything. Like
Yeah.
it's totally out of your control and it has to be up to them if they want to, if they, can pull the drive out of themselves to like
Yeah.
try and get better. And like um I'm all for like, supporting them like 100%, like do what you gotta do. Um but I'm like also I think like part of the anger is like again, this is speaking from someone who like has dealt with it in family and stuff like that, where I
Yeah.
feel like it's the anger is like why can't you get like why can't you do better for not just like yourself but like me or
Yeah.
like your family, like
Yeah.
why is that not enough?
Yeah.
Or like when they get better for a little bit and then they go back to whatever it is, or it was seemed like they were trying to get better but it turned out they weren't the whole time, like they were
Yeah.
just trying to get to their next available whatever fix.
Yeah.
And it's almost like betrayal, like, especially when they tell you like, oh yeah, I'm trying, and then it turns out they weren't trying. It's kind of like, well, what the fuck? So I feel like the anger kind of comes from there too, but it's hard for me to have any anger for anybody who's trying their best.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and it's obvious when it's that versus just lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I mean, this is not everybody with an addiction, and not all addictions are equal.
Yeah.
Um, but those strong. I don't know. I feel like part of that is manipulation. Like manipulation goes into addiction because they don't want to be seen as a bad person, or they don't want to be whatever, and so they'll lie. And I don't feel like, because I feel like part of being sober, or maybe not even like sober is the right word, but like not addicted or not giving into those addictions, specifically those, ones that fuck up your life, or might kill you, is like, you know, just kind of manipulating it so you can always get back to it. Like, it's just kind of one of those patterns that happens. And I don't think anyone's a bad person for that. I think it's just part of it sometimes. Um, but I feel like I just know, like, when it's not genuine, and I feel like that could build anger in me.
Yeah.
So I always have to, like, kind of take a step back
Yeah.
because it's really not my life. It's not my journey. And all
Yes.
I can do is, like, create boundaries for myself. And, like, if I feel like it's detrimental to my mental health or whatever, just, like, take a step back. Because, like, I don't think that anger does help anybody. Um, but I don't think coddling does either. And, I mean, I'm happy to say that the people that I know that have had these addictions, because they've been addicted to some really strong drugs, I would say,
Yeah.
that most people don't come back from. I mean, there's some drugs that literally change your brain. Like, you
Yeah.
can't come back from them. So, um, I caution people to be cautious of themselves too. Like, take care of yourself first and foremost. If you do love somebody with an addiction, it's like, it's very easy to, like, kind of, I feel like, let it kind of take over your stuff or take over your life and, like, how you feel about things and how you feel about yourself. But you can't, like, let it do that, and be supportive as much as you can, but also don't let that get to you either. If it starts getting to you, I feel like you need to know when to leave. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You need to know when to fold them, if you will.
Whoa. Callback.
But yeah, I mean, I have family members that it's in their past now. They have 13 years clean,
Yeah.
but they will tell me, like, but
Yeah.
it never goes away. If I were to hang out with those people that I was hanging out with then, I would probably fall back into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an everyday thing.
Yeah. It's a literal brain disease.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
it's like, every day that you can stay away from it or know what your triggers are and stay away
Yeah.
from those. It's like, and I do think that comes with, like, time too, right? Like,
Yeah.
13 years, you definitely know what would set you back.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the conscious choice to not even
Yeah.
tempt yourself by doing any of those things. That is so, I applaud that so much, and I'm very proud of anybody who can stay sober for any length of time and get back on the wagon, even if they fall off, because it's
Yeah.
so disheartening sometimes to fall off and to think, like, damn, everyone's gonna hate me again, or I hate myself, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just not fair to you as the person who's trying. So I'm glad you haven't had to deal with that in a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you ever had.
Yeah. Really trippy. I'm like, grow up, all your friends start dying because they're doing drugs. And I'm like, whoa, crazy.
I fortunately haven't had that. I mean, I also don't have a lot of friends like that, like, in general. But I remember when I was externing at, like, this kind of like not a halfway house, but whatever. It was like for addicts.
Yeah.
Um and or a lot of them were addicts, and part of the training is, like, preparing yourself for, like, in case someone does OD,
Yeah.
because, like, they shouldn't have this stuff. We're supposed to be doing searches. We're supposed to, like, they're supposed to snitch on each other, but it's
Yeah.
like, also
If there's a will, there's a
sometimes,
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it happens. Or, like, you'll hear about people not coming home for curfew, and you have to be like, fuck, like, I hope they
Are
come back
okay.
in
Yeah.
general. Like, yeah, because you don't know if they're at the park doing it, and
Yeah.
they're not gonna come back because it's fucking freezing outside.
Yeah.
um so it's kind of, it's unreal. Like, it's an epidemic for sure. Like, So I'm glad to hear that like sobriety's kind of on the upper
Yeah.
rising of it, I guess. And I'm glad like the younger generations are kind of like it's kind of lame to like do things like they're like no, I'm not a drinker, I'm not like a
Yeah.
smoker, like I'm good. Like
Yeah.
because the whole like vaping thing was so big for like the generation before them, like it still is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I literally just saw a clip. I didn't finish watching it, but some guy who's vaping on a plane.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's the like 1970s, 60s smoking on a plane.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. And like, I feel like with the vaping too, people became more normalized doing it in public. Like you said, like on the plane, but like everywhere, just like they used to smoke cigarettes
Like in
everywhere.
office
Yeah.
and
Because it's
yeah.
like, oh, it's vapor, it's not smoke.
Yeah.
So like everyone was okay with it. It's like, dang,
Yeah.
and now I'm just kind of glad like kids like my sister's age. I mean, granted they're young, but it's like they're
Yeah.
looking at you if you vape and they're like, ew.
No, yeah, well, which is like the thought I've always had like towards smoking.
Yeah.
I was like, I definitely vaped for like a very short amount of time, and like even when I vaped, it was just like for the cool clouds. I would only
Yeah, the
like
fat
vape like
clouds. Yeah.
0% nicotine.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, I don't do
Yeah,
nicotine. Like,
no. Dude, that's so funny how I did that too. Isn't that
y-
so funny? It's just
yeah,
like the fruity smells and the big
the big
clouds.
clouds, like
Yeah.
the little cool mist you would
Trying
get
to
from a
do
huge cloud. Yeah.
yeah, trying to do like
Vape tricks. I
yeah, vape
literally okay.
tricks.
I saw this video the other day and it was talking about Skrillex has a new album he released
Uh-huh.
and he's like, dude, did you guys hear that new Skrillex? I wish I was a vapor so bad. And he's like, he said, just imagine. And then on the video it says, imagine these are hella cool smoke tricks. And he's dancing to the music and he's like blowing like,
Boom, boom,
ooh, and then
boom.
like
Yes.
twists it. It's so funny. And I was
That
like,
is
oh my
so
gosh.
funny. I
I was
love
like,
that
that's
dude.
hilarious.
That is hilarious. Yeah, it's crazy. That was just like kind of like a because it was such a thing and it's like, yeah, well, I'm not gonna smoke nicotine, but I'm gonna get into these flavor smells and big
Yeah.
clouds. But yeah, also a very short period of time I did that because then it just was like, okay, what am I paying for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, but I knew people who were definitely vaping Nick at the time. And I don't know, cigarettes too, like analog cigarettes are they're just so negative. Like
Yeah.
negative aura, negative everything, like
Yeah.
negative riz. It's so skibbity toilet. Whatever.
Yeah.
It like literally makes your breath smell so bad. The smell is on everything.
Yeah.
It's fucked. Like have you like seen those like videos or pictures of people's walls from people who smoke cigarettes like for years and years in the
Oh my
house?
gosh,
And it's like
yes.
yellow and brown.
Yeah, I have definitely seen pictures and videos and I feel like even like on like some hoarders
Oh
episodes.
yeah.
But it's crazy because like for me, the smell of cigarettes is so nostalgic, so dad.
That's crazy because both my parents were like analog cigarette smokers,
Yeah.
and like my mom still does smoke cigarettes, but I can't fucking stand it anymore. Like I used to like when I was a younger kid, I don't even think I remember the smell like because it was so just everywhere
Yeah.
that like I didn't even realize I smelled like it. Like I'd go to school and people thought I smoked
Oh,
cigarettes
wow. Yeah.
because it was just like in my clothes, no matter how clean they were,
Yeah.
it just smells like cigarettes. So I would like I don't know. I guess I just never noticed. And then I got out of the house. I started living my life. I don't smoke cigarettes. None of the people I've ever like been with and stayed with really smoke cigarettes. Like
Yeah.
really, especially not around me. So when I do go back and smell cigarettes or the smell of a
Yeah.
freshly lit cigarette, it almost makes me feel sick.
Yeah, I get that. For me, I feel like because seeing my dad was like such a rarity and my dad was really good at never like smoking in the car with us.
Yeah.
Um he would always smoke outside or whatever and then like
Yeah.
as we got older, he would ask if he could smoke, and I'm like, yeah, I
Oh,
love you,
that's
Dad.
nice.
I love
I
you,
love you, Dad.
Dad.
I just want you to be
And he'd
happy.
have all the windows down and like,
Yeah.
and like keep it like super out of the car. So I was
Dude,
like,
I
whatever.
can't do
But
it.
like, I remember like being younger and like, and then my dad would also take me and my brother to the arcades and the casinos a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like anytime I'd like go through a
You
casino,
smell it through there.
I'd be like, I'm like, oh, deep whiff. And I'm
That's
like, and just think
crazy.
about my dad. And I'm like, oh, I love my
That's
dad.
crazy. I was just outside of Dottie's,
Yeah.
and they have a big sign that's like green or something, and it
Yeah.
says no, what does it say? I don't know exactly what the phrasing was, but it was basically like no amount of secondhand smoke is okay. Like
Yeah.
it is actually they say secondhand is worse than firsthand. Did you hear that?
I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I've heard about smoking.
But yeah, that's like when you smoke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know what secondhand
Well,
is,
for
but
the people who don't
oh
know.
yeah, for the non-smokers out there, let
Yeah,
them
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Des.
Well, secondhand, so firsthand would be you smoking it. Secondhand would be the people around you who are getting it. So when it gets into your walls, that's what they say is the most
That's
dangerous.
third hand.
No,
No, I'm
that's
just kidding.
still secondhand. But they say that like when it gets into your walls and stuff like that, that's when it's especially bad because then you're constantly breathing in and there is no break from it. But it's all the chemicals that are inside of those things that
Yeah,
like is the
yeah.
reason why it's so dangerous. And that's why it's like I don't know.
I think you
Just be
know
cautious.
what commercials used to scare me the most that probably like
When we're singing.
strongly deterred me from
Yes.
smoking the little like
My dad did the voice the other day because we were talking about this.
yeah.
He did the voice the other day perfectly,
Oh
and
my
I was
gosh.
cracking up, but at the same time, I was like, "Dude, that shit was
Like the like
terrifying."
holes in their
Yeah, he has all,
throats.
and
Yeah.
I knew a baby because her mom smoked
Oh
really bad.
no, that's
I knew a
crazy.
baby who had one, and I mean, I don't really know them now. I was a little kid when I knew them, but like the mom did not take care of her at all. Her
Yeah.
fucking tray coal was like all nasty and
Oh
stuff. And if
no.
anyone has never seen one of those, I can tell you can smell them too. And it's
Ugh.
nuts. And
Oh
if you
my
guys don't know
gosh.
the commercial we're talking about, it's
Dude,
like
it's
you
scary.
go watch it. They made a couple
Maybe
of them.
I would say maybe can we like repost
Oh,
that,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
think
okay,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh man.
Gosh, yeah. Well, and it's funny because like
Tobacco
I
took
feel
my lungs or whatever.
yeah, oh my gosh.
That shit is crazy.
It's crazy because then it's like the like above the influence commercials
Yeah.
like did the total opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like they were just so funny. Like the one where like Sarah's fucking like flat into the couch all
Yeah,
squiggly.
it's like
And they're
Sarah.
like, I don't know, she's been like this ever since she started smoking marijuana.
Yeah,
She
but
just sits here for hours and
low
says
key, those
nothing.
are kind of scary too, though, because just like they look weird.
Yeah, I just
The one
thought
with
they were
the
comical.
dog, the one with the
Oh, when
dog
the
was kind
dog's
of
talking.
sad. It was
Yeah.
like he's like, I miss my best friend. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ah, that's crazy.
I know, I have a friend, and I would be like, your dog is disappointed.
That's hilarious.
But, I'll say we'll start wrapping this episode
Okay.
up, and we'll head into the word of the day. It is malleable.
Malleable.
It is something described as malleable is capable of being stretched or bent into different shapes or capable of being easily changed or influenced.
Like
Kind of like
Play-Doh.
kind of like this Nido cube I'm playing with. Um yeah, so there you go guys. Word of the day.
Nice, thank you, Jess.
And
Malleable.
let me tab over to this slang and see what we got going on. Okay, bop is still trending #2.
Bop.
And mewing is #3. Ride or die, they're still there.
So they're also there.
The number
What
one
else?
for this week is reply guy.
Reply guy.
A habitual and often annoying replier on social media.
What? Oh, like they just respond to everything?
Yeah, maybe.
I know this dude who gets drunk and he's a reply guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say I was like,
Or am I the reply guy?
you might
Just
be.
kidding.
I was gonna say I'm not online enough to know.
I have no idea.
I was gonna say I don't remember where it was. I think maybe Facebook or some social media, but I saw slop being thrown on there a
Really?
lot,
I
and
saw slop the
I
other
was
day
like,
too.
perfect.
And I was
I
like,
was like, shout out Merriam-Webster.com,
hell
keeping
yeah.
us in the loop.
I saw because I don't know what it was. Well, because you know that Ghibli AI slop
Oh
has
my
been going
gosh,
around,
yeah,
and
I
people are.
definitely shared a post that was like, if you support Studio Ghibli, then why stop
Why would you
making
do that?
slop?
Because the
Yeah,
guy literally said like that goes against everything he believes in. His company began like working on something for like to help have AI help them, and he went into that room and was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? I do
yeah,
not want this like at all. It
yeah,
needs to all be by human hand. Like
yeah,
that's the only way I do it." And like because yeah, and so like to literally go against his wishes, which I know some people are not going to give a fuck because
yeah,
you don't give a fuck, but like you should give a fuck. And
yeah,
also like just respect the art. And I know that you're lazy and you can't probably draw and that's why you're using it, but there's people that can. I literally
yeah.
see tons of Studio Ghibli art that's like or art like
Style,
style, yeah, um made by hand.
yeah,
And it's still it's out there, dude. Just like you gotta be wanting and able to find it. If you want to be lazy, then that's your excuse. Like don't pretend it's anything else. And like yeah, there's just so much of it. It looks so ugly. I just saw like somebody on my Facebook made like took his family portrait and made it with the AI, the
yeah.
Studio Ghibli AI made that his picture, and I
Uh,
was like, I wish I could thumbs down react, you
yeah.
know? But then it's
Just you
like,
just gotta angry react. Angry or sad?
yeah, sad react. Like I'm so disappointed in you.
Yeah.
um, but then yeah, I saw so many people like posting it in different like groups, like uh I don't know. I think there was a Back to the Future. I don't even know why I'm in a Back to the Future group, but
Yeah.
anyway, I'm in one of those, and somebody did AI of the Doc and
Okay.
Marty,
Yeah.
and people were like, "What is with this slop?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I
Hey.
know that word."
Yes. Yes. And in number 5, we have Yassify.
Oh, Yassify.
To heavily edit an image with beauty filters.
Oh, I didn't know it was image specifically. I thought Yassify would be like to just enhance anything with like makeup or eyelashes and like all that other extra stuff. Okay, that's good to know. I would have been
Yeah.
using it wrong.
Yeah. Then they would be like, "What? You
Th-
love yassifying
They'd be like,
yourself?"
"What are you talking about?
Well,
Like,
it's like
what is
that
that?"
thing, like that one. Have you ever seen like La Rosa de Guadalupe? Have you ever watched
Yes.
it? Have you ever seen that episode where the girl goes like missing or something, and like, or no, I'm sorry. Okay, so this girl, these guys who are gonna kidnap
Uh
her
huh.
to do bad
Uh
stuff
huh.
with her,
Yeah.
are like picking out this girl because of her profile picture. They stalk her, whatever, and then they get her, and they're like, "What the like?"
Like she doesn't look like
She
her
doesn't
profile
look like
picture.
her. And then they're like, we could still probably get some money for this. But then it's like, or like that post that's like, dude, stop editing your picture so much. Like, what are we going to post to find you?
Oh yeah, because they won't even recognize
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I recently came up like real quick. I recently came across one of my Facebook posts from when I was much, much younger.
Yeah.
Um, and granted, I was much younger, so therefore much more judgmental.
Yes.
And I posted something that was I remember it being sarcastic, but I posted it in the sense that it wasn't
Oh,
sarcastic,
yeah.
and it was about somebody. I don't know who, but it was about somebody who took a profile picture of themselves. And what I said was, I love that people, this is probably not verbatim, but it was like, I love that people can take a picture of themselves with flash really bright in the mirror and you can't even see half their face. Plus, they have a filter on it and their friends will still be like, "You're so beautiful." I was like, that's so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, thank you for the words of the day, Jess.
Of course.
And with that, have a great day, great evening, and good night.
Bye.
Bye.